Welcome to the Therapeutic Food Solutions podcast. I'm your host, Marian Mitchell. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach, therapeutic diet expert, and founder of The Road to Living Whole. There are many different diets out there. It's hard to know which one is right for you with your chronic illness and autoimmune disease. In this podcast, I'm going to share with you the foundational pieces every single therapeutic diet out there shares, and also how to use the best one for your particular diagnosis. If you've been looking for a meal planning partner, help navigating the complicated healthcare system, and want to feel better quickly, I'm your girl. Grab your kombucha and notebook. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited for today's guest because her name is Dr. Melanie Icard, and she is going to talk with us about reversing cardiovascular risk. And, we're going to talk about cardiovascular disease and all this stuff that are very real problems that people are dealing with that have very real solutions, and you can get better from. Most people think that once you have it, you're stuck with it. There's nothing you can do. What you eat doesn't matter. Da, 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 da. But you know what? She's going to walk us through all of this, and I am thrilled for you, and I'm thrilled to learn right along with you. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us about yourself. Where did you go to school? How did what made you want to become a doctor? And then, what got you into the cardiovascular focus?
Yeah, and it's so interesting because it's almost like it was all just kind of written in the stars. I remember being a little kid. I don't know if this was you, and I was just in shock and awe of these other little kids that they knew what they were going to be when they grew up. I was like, how do they know? I was like, I don't know. How do they know? This is crazy. Is something wrong with me? And so, but this is how life kind of set me up for this role because it's like, why am I not in real estate or like a teacher or I don't know. My mother, she got cancer as a young woman, and I was the only daughter. And she had a baby. So I would stay home and take care of her and her baby and go to all these appointments with her. And what I noticed, and I didn't know anything because I'm a kid, that she never got better. I'm like, we're going to all these appointments, and she always just seems worse and like sicker, right? So I was kind of scratching my head on that because what I knew as a kid is like, oh, I thought you went to the doctor to make you better, and that wasn't my experience. And if you've ever had anyone with cancer, nobody ever just dies from cancer. It's a thing. And it's a little unpleasant. And so basically, eventually she deteriorated and she died. And she was a young woman. She was 33, or I think it
Oh, I'm
was
so
10 or 11.
sorry.
Thank you. And so then I always thought that I was gonna die young of
Oh,
breast cancer, like her. Like it was like here in the back of my head, right? I was sure of it. There wasn't a doubt in my mind. Like her cousin died in her 30s of breast cancer. Her mom had breast cancer twice. Her dad died in his 40s, different situation, but I was just 100% sure I'm going to die young of breast cancer. It's like this voice in the back of my head. And the intervention, the divine intervention was when I got pregnant with my son. I know you're a mom. He's 23 now, right? So now I've got 24 years. I had that epiphany, maybe my dad was a health nut and I thought he was annoying, but I'm like, maybe Chad's on to something over here. And what you put in your body and what's in your environment is important because I don't want this kid to not have a mom. Because
mm-hmm.
as moms, you're like the number one cheerleader, like you got their back, right? So if you're a little kid that doesn't have a mom, you kind of have to be like a cat and like land on your feet. And I did not want that for my kid. So I asked my father to teach me how to be healthy. And of course he was thrilled because I just made fun of him before that. I'm like, you're not going to eat food for 10 days? That's so weird. Many people were doing juice cleanses in the
Yeah.
90s. And so then he started teaching me and introducing me to his naturopath. And because of my birth order, I'm the second oldest and I have five brothers. I've always been a caretaker. So going into healthcare was natural. And I did work in the hospital system for like 11 years. I was a respiratory therapist. So we saved people's lives, or sometimes we let them, expire if it was time, right? But it never really worked for me either because the same people was always coming back, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is like a circular door. We're good at bandaging people up, but no one's actually getting better. And I had been going to meet my father's naturopathic doctor to learn. And it was so weird because every time I drove, and she lived like 30 minutes away from me, every time I drove to see her, took this route and there was this building that I didn't know what it was. And I wanted to go in there. I'm like, that's weird. What is that? What are they doing over there? Right. But every time. And so finally, I'm like, the fourth time I said, it's so weird. Every time I come to see you, I drive by this building and I want to go in there. And she goes, Melanie, that's the naturopathic medical school. So it's like oddly like a moth to the flame drawn to the school. And then she found the Discovery Day, me and my dad went, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, and so I started. And of course, I thought I was going to treat cancer, right? Like I'm going to be a
Right.
cancer doctor. I'm going to, cure cancer. And I found that cancer doc. I'm like, we're friends, me and you. Like, I'm on your shift. Like, we're friends. Got on the shift, hated it. Absolutely, positively hated it because in the process of getting into medical school, I had to do all these other classes, and I discovered the power of mind-body medicine and the power of the
Hmm.
mind and the emotions and the energy. And these people had the best treatments in the world. I mean, they probably had mistletoe and high dose vitamin C and blah, 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 blah. And they told me, I'm here, I'm all bright eyed and bushy tailed, and they told me, I'm gonna die. I was like, oh, what? Like every person, like three in a row. And I'm like, ooh, something's missing here. And I even went back to the table and tried to bring in the idea, that would bring in mind body medicine. And nobody had time to hear that or wanted to hear that. And I said, well, this isn't going to work for me. And so I had to go back to the drawing board and kind of follow interests. And I ended up getting into regenerative medicine, which is what I feel like I do because I have a lot of fire energy and I like things that are effective. I don't
Yeah.
want to give you like 40 supplements and pray to God that they're going to work. That's not my style. I want to give you a supplement that I have seen repeatedly give the clinical results I want in a short period of time. And I want results. Like I'm like, is it safe? Is it natural? Is it efficient? Then it's going in the toolbox, right? And if it's not,
Yeah.
you're going, I don't want it. So
I love that.
that's how I kind of got started. And I did all kinds of cool stuff because I'm kind of like, a little bit of a Renaissance lady. So, what I mean, I've even did a deep dive in like psychedelic therapy. I did stem cells. I mean, like everything that I was interested in, I did a deep dive on, like I was doing peptides 10 years ago,
Yeah.
Um, and then here I am, this naturopathic doctor, and I'm doing everything, just like my patients, right? I'm doing everything. I'm like, sure you are. Okay. So, and I'm noticing that I'm getting thicker. Like my pants are tight. I'm like, oh, well, I'm getting older. Like I think that's what happens when you get older. Like, you just get thicker. And I should probably do my labs, but I'm busy. I'm
Yeah.
busy. I'll do them later. This is just exactly like my patients. They're all a mirror for us, right? Everybody's a mirror.
Yeah.
So then finally, I just am feeling bad. I do the labs and I was so pissed off because you know what I found? I was pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
I was iron deficient. I had surpassed the insulin resistance and gone straight into pre-diabetes. Like maybe if I wasn't busy, I would have caught it sooner. And of course, and I'm like, what? Like I don't think I wasn't going to the gym. I was going to the gym like 5 days a week. I was ice bathing it. I was even meditating like 3 times a week, like eating whole foods. I was doing everything. And this is when I realized I knew immediately. I have too much stress in my life. I have
Hmm.
too much stress in my life. I have stressed myself into being pre-diabetic, and I had to pump the brakes and do a deep dive in metabolism. And then also, where am I burning the candle on both ends? Because
Hmm.
I know I'm guilty. Like I don't, I'm not even trying to like BS myself on this. Like I'm guilty. Like I'm running a medium-sized practice, like how can I stop burning the candle at both ends? And of course I wasn't going to accept being pre-diabetic. And there was no way in hell that I was going to become diabetic, right? So I had to do a
Right.
deep dive and find all the pieces that were missing on that. And then I had to like start letting go of things and giving things away and like downsizing my life.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's even maybe just as important as like the metabolism piece,
Yeah.
because it all works together. Obviously, got my waist back. Yay. Okay, guess what, guys? You don't have to get thicker as you get older. Okay. If you want the recipe, send me a message. Right. So that's great. And then I started looking at my clients and all of them, even like the hot buff, like biohacker people, metabolic mess. I mean, there
Yeah.
wasn't one where I was like solid, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, this is a big part of the missing pillar, and that's why there's not this longevity, or it's so hard to get over this thyroid hump or whatever it is.
Right.
So I started working on that. And then during this time, a patient shows up, right? So this was all born for him. So thank God for him, everybody, because and he's a very fancy, powerful guy, big international company, and they told him he needed to put stents in his heart. And thanks for his strong personality, he said, "I don't think so. You need to give me 2 months," which who would have thought you could even do that, right? Like
Right.
this guy, you'd be like, oh my God, when are we doing this? Right. But like, thanks for his strong personality, then he came to me and he was like really naughty patient, the kind that doesn't like to listen, maybe shows up once a year with a little bit of a health kick.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to listen this time because I do not want to do that. We got 2 months. What do you got for me?
I love that.
I
Those are
said,
my
okay.
those are my people.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. And I was really present, right? Because I knew he was serious, right? And I was really present with him. And it just kind of came in like the protocol, which is like the baseline of what we still do now. I'm like, okay, we got 8 weeks. We got this, we're gonna do this, and this, and this. And he did everything. He finally did the detox. He finally paid attention to the blood sugar. He took the stuff at home and he showed up for all of his appointments in a timely manner. And I was shocked that they excused him from needing the surgery in less than 2 months.
That's unheard of.
I know. And I was like, oh, that's a good result. Like, let's put that one in the bank. Let's remember that one, for the future, especially because he was like, you're naughty, like chicken and waffles guys, like hee,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, that'll work great for other people. And I move on about my life. Good for him. Yay. And that's the one thing. If anybody doesn't learn anything else from hearing this, if they tell you you need a stent and you're not a hot mess, do what this guy did. Say, hey, can you give me 2 months? Because you can ask for it and they probably will say yes. And then find me or someone like me. I don't know if you find anyone like me, but like you can take care of this, right? That's what you
Yeah.
can learn. And here's the other thing, since I decided, ended up focusing on this, it was never my intention, as you can tell. The stents, and I don't think they tell you this, it might be in all the paperwork that you sign. Just putting it in there, it's foreign. So it makes your body want to make more plaque and inflammation.
Yep.
Okay, so you were already making plaque and inflammation, and you pop that sucker open, and that being there makes so now you got to be more on your best behavior than you were before. So just be like, it's not the end of the world. I work with tons of people with stents, but it's like that doesn't mean that's not a get out of jail free card. It's not.
Yeah.
And it actually, if you do the research, it doesn't extend anyone's life. It's symptom management at best, right?
Yeah.
So I would consider you to do what this guy said, ask for a break pump, ask for 2 months, hit me up. Because what I found is that we can radically decrease plaque in 2 months. So I'm going to just give you one more story because the story is getting long, but this is when we decided to focus on this, right? So then another guy shows up and he's even older.
Always
He's
the guys.
70. He's like 70, right?
Okay.
And we got over, some long COVID or something. And he's like, well, I like you. And I'm really pissed off because I got all this plaque in my carotid artery. And he's like dream patient. Like he's already intermittent fasting. He probably has a sauna. Like he's doing all this. He's doing everything. And he was coachable too, because he was hardcore carnivore, but he wasn't really having the BM. So I said, okay, can we adjust this? Can we find a balance? And he was up for it, right? So put him through the same protocol, and he loves getting the imaging, and it's so much easier for the carotids because it's just an ultrasound. It's so easy.
Hmm.
Boom. It was like less than half the plaque in 2 months, right? So I was like, cool, high five. And then, but this guy is also intense. So he's like, I want to do it again. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, it's not going to hurt you. We can do it again. We do it again, another 2 months. He goes for imaging because he loves it. He's like this super studious guy, right? And the imaging report comes back normal. And we're going, what does normal even mean? Right?
Right.
Right? I mean, it depends on who's thinking about it. So we actually had a tech call the radiologist and she pulled it up and she said he has zero plaque. So he went from like 70 to like 30 to zero in a time span of like 4 months. And I
That's
was,
and they
wow,
tell you you
cool.
can't do that. Once the plaque is there, it stays and all you can do is manage it.
Right. And so here it's one of those things because there's a lot of stuff they told us that we later found out it was BS, right? So just keep that in mind, people. And like a lie repeated often enough becomes the truth. Okay. And it's nothing wrong with you. We all got indoctrinated, like I used to think oatmeal was a health food, like I mean, right? Okay. Like, so if you're still there, it's okay. Like we've all been there, we've all been there. So it's not anything wrong with you, but I have people that actually they fight with me on the internet. It's crazy because plaque is forever. Okay, first of all, why do you want to be on the side of plaque is forever?
That is such a great question. I wonder that so much when people are like, it doesn't change, you can't reverse it, your diet doesn't matter,
Yeah,
seed
we're
oils are
just screwed
fine.
forever.
Yeah. And I'm like, they used to tell us smoking cigarettes was fine. We used to spray kids in the face with DDT.
hmm
We used to build with asbestos.
hmm
Like,
We get a lot of stuff
we used
wrong,
to
and
tell pregnant
medicine's
women to
slow.
drink gin every night to help reduce their stress. Like, come on, people.
And it is a business, right? It's a
Right.
it's sick care business, and it's a good and business is good. Like I like to, get on a soapbox about the statins. That's $1 trillion a year industry, right? And it's got tons of side effects. There's many good benefits of cholesterol. It's been falsely villainized, but the worst part for me is the false peace of mind people get thinking they're taking care of the problem, right?
Right.
But we're just squishing down a number, which is probably screwing you up in other ways. Well, this inflammatory chaos is still going on and damaging your vessels, right?
Right.
So that's pretty frustrating. And I mean, I don't know what I'm allowed to say or not, but I just love people to just throw those in the garbage, just throw them in the garbage,
Yeah.
like and just
I
yeah,
I
go
will
ahead.
say from my client experience is I've had many patients that come to me on statins and within 6 months are off of them completely. Some of them do throw them in the trash because it makes the have severe brain fog, their muscles hurt, their joints hurt, their blood sugar goes through the roof, and just the mental fog alone is enough for them to like throw it away. But then, and I'm sure your protocol is way more in depth than mine. Mine's just diet. But
Yes.
within like, I've had the longest I've had is a year because their cholesterol was, they had genetically high cholesterol plus a
Yeah.
poor diet.
hmm
But we were still able to get it under 250 from like
Cool.
the 400s in like, I think it was 9 months,
Yeah.
and I had one guy come to me who was just over 250 and we got it down to 175 through diet alone. He asked his doctor to give him 3 months and it had dropped enough in 3 months that she was willing to give him three more months. And by 6 months, he was, where they wanted him to be without medication. And
Yeah.
one of those things was getting rid of oatmeal.
Yeah. And it is nutrition. Like that's what I always tell people because a lot of people come in and they're like, well, what is it? There is no magic supplement. There is no magic treatment. All of these things can be cool in certain ways, but here's the thing. The body is a system of systems, right? So that's why just squishing down your blood pressure with a blood pressure med is there's still a very high chance of like fatal cardiac event, right? It doesn't because the process is still going on, right?
Hmm.
So it needs a system-based approach. I tell people I'm not that good. Like you got to give me at least a 6 or 7 out of 10. But if you can do that, we can get you results, right? And a lot
Yeah.
of it is lifestyle, and it's not your fault. We were all given the wrong roadmap to like drive these bodies on that were set up for insulin resistance and building up cortisol and all of that. So you just need
Yeah.
to know you don't know what you don't know, and you need a good map, and then you can get there. But like the same thing with the cholesterol, like most of our clients no longer have a blood sugar or a blood pressure problem after the first 2 months, right? So
Right.
we're very like, check your blood pressure twice a day. Don't over medicate, because this
Yeah.
can actually rapidly improve in a short period of time. On the
Yeah.
same note, I always tell everybody this is not a one and done, right? Because like just because I cleaned my kitchen yesterday doesn't mean I'm not going to mess it up tonight, you
Yeah.
know? Right? So it's like there's got to be some checkpoints, some little like checkpoints. And
Yeah, I always tell people health is not a destination, it's a journey.
yes,
And this with the whole longevity movement, it's not necessarily how many years can I add to my life, it's how much life can I add to my years because we can't control car accidents,
nobody.
or you know, like life happens. Like we can't control things, but we can, but when we take care of our bodies, our quality of life improves so much that we're able to do the things we want to do, spend time with the people we want to spend with. And cardiovascular disease, my oldest daughter's grandma died from cardiovascular disease when she was 63.
Yes.
She had congestive heart failure, and I mean, bless her heart, she tried to be healthy with the most ultra processed foods on the planet, where the
Yeah.
first five ingredients were different types of sugar, but there was like a Weight Watchers food or a Sally's or whatever. But she still ate like an entire candy bar a day and drank soda, and she was on $300 worth of pharmaceutical medications back in the mid 2000s when medication was cheaper and insurance covered more. And it's like but she wouldn't eat fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
And she didn't get to enjoy her grandchild. She didn't get to her son lost his mom when he was 31 years old. It's heartbreaking. And you don't have to do that. And you
Yeah.
don't have to.
Yeah, I had a guy that he is so cute, and was 65, I believe, and he wanted to do the program to be proactive because he didn't want to have problems, which obviously we love that, right?
Love that.
But he
Yeah.
came in and he was 65, but he was like a little kid. Like he didn't like fruits or vegetables, and he liked Reese's peanut butter cups and cereal and everything. But it was so funny because we went through the detox. And then he couldn't believe how good he felt, and that when he cheated, he could feel the inflammation, right?
Hmm.
And then we taught him how to balance his blood sugar, and he didn't know he was kind of pre-diabetic, and then he didn't know how things were interacting with him. Or like a big surprise a lot of my people get is that, he thought he was being healthy having rice or potatoes, and it would really spike his blood sugar.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because a few months ago he was writing me, checking in. He said, "Oh, I'm going out to dinner with my wife, and we're at the Olive Garden, and there's nothing healthy to eat here, Mel." I was like, "Oh wow." And then he sent me a picture that he found like some kind of broccoli and chicken dish that was in the healthy section. He's like, "I found what I'm gonna have." So even this man that for 65 years kind of ate like a little kid, like through these experiences was able to like just totally like flip around. I was blown away, and that he was telling me how he was making the right decisions. I was like, I love that.
Yeah. I think when people are really motivated, it makes our job so much easier. But I love that you have all this clinical data to back up what you're doing. Like the fact that plaque went away in the carotid, like disappeared, gone.
Yeah.
When they tell you that once it's there, it's there forever. Like,
Yeah.
there's no managing it. And you're not the first person who's brought that up, but you're the first person who focuses on it for their career. And it's just like, and a lot of people did it through supplements or whatever. And so I'm wondering, can you, without giving everything away, but
Yeah.
can you tell us kind of what your
Yeah.
protocol is when someone comes to you and what they can expect? And I'm not saying you guys go and try to do this yourselves. I really do recommend having a coach, a doctor along with you for the testing, for the data, making sure you're on the right track and making sure you're not guessing wrong. Because sometimes what we think is right is not right. But I would like to kind of give people kind of an idea of what to expect and what things work. So we know diet is the foundation. We've
Right.
established that. But let's talk a little bit more about what people can expect when they want to reverse their cardiovascular risk and help their bodies clean up this plaque that really inflammation is causing.
Yeah. So we do a holistic lab panel, right? And I put a
Mm-hmm.
couple of the more genetic things in there too, because those will just be missing pieces of the
Mm-hmm.
puzzle that we dial in for each person. And they're not uncommon. So it's a really good idea to get that in the mix, right?
Yeah.
And as far as the diet too, I'm a big stickler about eating less often and increasing the fasting window. I'm not a fan of the 3 meals a day plus snacks. I feel it's a setup for insulin resistance. And so we work on getting there. We also like imaging, right? Obviously, people are going to do whatever they want. Carotid's really easy. Ultrasound, a lot of people tend to stack plaque there. The good news is if you got plaque, don't freak out. We've got a repeatable process to get rid of it. Okay. So don't get stressed. because that's going to make more plaque. Okay. Just get on a plan. So, Lifeline is amazing. They're all over the country. It's like $200. You can self-schedule. They'll do your carotid ultrasound. We'll do a heart ultrasound, EKG, maybe something else, and you can schedule yourself. So then you can know what's going on there. But you probably want to know what's going on with your heart vessels, right? Because that's where a lot of other people have problems, or some people are unlucky enough to have both. It's the same protocol. Don't worry about it, right? So I'm loving Clearly, Cleerly. It's like an AI imaging. So you will have to do a CT. You will have to do some contrast. So some people, I get a hard no on that, but it's like sometimes we need a map. We need to know where we are so we can get to where we want to go. Like when
Hmm.
I found out I was pre-diabetic, I had to see it on paper and then get pissed off and take action. And I don't think I'm the only person like that, right?
Yeah.
So, you want to do that, and that'll tell you each artery on the heart, how much plaque is in it, and what kind of plaque. Is it soft, which is the troublemaker one, mixed, medium, stable, stable, like it sounds, right? Because the other stuff they do, it's really kind of vague. It doesn't, it just scares people, it doesn't really give us real information. So this is what I'm pushing for everyone to do, right?
Hmm.
And maybe it'll get you pissed off to take action because, like we said, you have to show up, right? And then we just did one for a lady that it gave her relief because she did everything. And even after going through all this personal stuff, her mother died, her father died, her dog died. It was like a bad country song, right? We had to reset her. We sent her for the imaging, less than 1% plaque, less than 1% calcium in every artery on the heart, even after all of that and a reset, and that gave her peace of mind, right? So we can
Yeah.
use it in both ways, right? But having those tools, right? Because we can't use our navigation if it doesn't know where we are. It can't get us to where we want to go. So I think that those are important, and it's going to help put that we got a Nancy Drew you. We got to solve that
Yeah.
mystery, right? And then everybody gets the basics, right? Because it's
Right.
like the mind wants to complicate things. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It just has to be the right things. So it's detox with herbs. We do an herbal detox and it's all win. So then we get the buy-in, right? Then the people want to show up because more energy, better BMs, blood pressure's better, blood sugar's better, la la la, right? Less inflamed. Then I give them the list because then there's a list of things I want them to take out for 2 weeks. That gets a little snarky, right? No one likes the list. So I say, well, just make peace with the list, come to Jesus moment because you got to do this list next. And I tell them, put a date on the calendar, like quitting smoking. If you got to go have some lasagna or whatever ahead of time, like get it out of your system. And then we do the nutritional detox.
Hmm.
And it may not be fun the first 2, 3 days, but then you feel like $1 million. And I only ask for 2 weeks. Nobody rushes in at 2 weeks. It always lasts longer because people feel good and then they realize they don't really need those things. And then they dribble back in, right?
Hmm.
All the while, we're very big about teaching you how to balance your glucose and your insulin. Pretty much mandatory. You have to do a continuous glucose sensor, and we're going to teach you the hacks with a health coach, right? And it's really fun. Actually, people get addicted to it. It's like a video game and you're the winner, right? So you can,
Yeah.
and you're always going to get surprises. There's things that you thought were healthy for you, totally screwing you up. So you don't know
Yeah.
what you don't know. It like pulls the wool off your eyes and then you can kind of get real so that you can actually heal, right? We also do a calcium balancing therapy because calcium can get stuck in the arteries, making them stiff, but it can get gunked up intracellularly. Some of these arrhythmias, that's calcium imbalance intracellularly, right? A lot of the diseases of aging is calcium gunking up. So we do a specific therapy for that is very important part of it. After all of that, we're going to do some gut healing. And the whole while, we're working on the mental and the emotional. It sounds so nerdy, but we always do gratitude. We always did what went well. I call it nervous system reset. Some people get triggered by the word meditation, but we got to just learn how to relax. So we have a live call where we do that once a week with different teachers so you can try different things. But this is one of the most important things. And a lot of people are the most resistant to it, but it's like we're American. Relaxation isn't built into our culture. Hustle is, right? But doesn't it make
Right.
sense if you think about it that it would be better for us if we learn to relax a little bit, take
Yeah.
the foot
Well,
off
and
the
also I think people have a misconception on what relaxation means because
true.
they think bubble bath, they think vegging out and watching TV, they think not going to work. They don't actually think about what it takes to actually build in like stress breaks and stress management strategies. And so, yeah, there's a lot of work that we have in that
And
area.
it's like going to the gym because you're like not going to be good at it at first, right?
Yeah.
It's just right. You're going to be like, no, I need to be busy. I need to drink coffee. And it's like we're literally unconsciously addicted to the stress. Like we don't realize it, but we love the dopamine hits, we love the cortisol, we love the adrenaline. But our body doesn't because those were meant to be in short bursts and then ciao.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Not like decades, and it doesn't mean that your house is burning down. Like it doesn't, it can just be everyday stress of like having a long to-do list, like feeling overwhelmed, rushing here and rushing there. It adds up and it sends the body a bill. And I see it in the labs. And I kind of named it, we should go over this later. But
Yeah.
it's like, I called it, I was like, dang, nobody's talking about this, but I see it in everybody's labs. And these are the people that are attracted to me. So maybe that's the thing, but I call it the chronic stress metabolic mess. And
Yeah.
these are people that are trying, they're not doing
Yeah.
standard
That
American
was
diet.
me. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yes, that's what
I
I'm
was a
talking
single mom.
about.
I was a single mom for 14 years.
Yep,
I had a day job. I was building my business. I was raising two kids. And, just life is expensive and just kind of like I had to go to survival mode and then
yep,
my body crashed.
yep.
And I had to figure out how to keep going and reset my nervous system at the same time. And then a couple of weeks ago, I did a continuous glucose monitor for my pregnancy. I'm not gestational diabetic or anything, but we were concerned. I make big babies. And so we
Oh,
were kind of concerned about my third had shoulder dystocia when she was born. So her one shoulder got stuck in the pelvis, and her APGAR was 2 when she was born. She bounced back really fast, but like it was super scary. So we're like, okay, do we go the C-section route? Can we stay vaginal birth? And so we did a continuous glucose monitor just to see what I was doing. And it was so interesting because there were about 3 days that were really stressful, and my blood sugar didn't get below 100 for
yeah,
3 days.
yeah,
Before that, it was like in the 80s and 90s, and in between meals and stuff. But like just seeing the stress there, and then I was
yeah.
so glucose sensitive those 3 days. Like those 3 days, I bounced up into the 140s, the 150s, and then I was able to see which foods, health foods, like didn't spike my blood sugar at all, and other ones that sent me into like the 170s, and I was like,
Right.
holy moly! Like it was so eye-opening. But really, the stress thing was the one that I was like, huh. Like it's really, really a thing.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in nature too for
Hmm.
grounding. I
Yeah.
like everyone to get outside every day. When I'm here, I go to the river on Sundays. I've been doing that for like 10 years, so it's just like a clockwork now. It's just a habit for me. When I'm in
Hmm.
Florida, I always go for a walk on the beach like 5 days a week. It's easier there because it's like 10 minutes, then you can hit a beach. Um, but it's like the nature. Like, ever notice how people at the beach just seem like a little bit more cheerful? They're
Yeah.
outside a lot. They're walking barefoot. They're swimming in the ocean. So they're getting all these ions. And we all need to do that. Even if you live in the city, like go to the park, go do like I do, plan a Sunday where you go, more into nature and reset and ground get your lights off in the evening. Get
Even just go
romantic, light some
outside.
candles.
Yeah. Like I have my son takes, or my husband takes our younger kids outside for walks after dinner so that I can have a break at the end of the day. And it has done so much for his attitude. He doesn't even know this. This is when he hears this podcast, he's going to be like, "What?" But like he was just so stressed because he's in charge of this small company, and he's the everybody uses his brain and all of that, right? Like he's totally like the mom in the company where everybody just outsources their brain to him. And he's completely in the change and just him getting outside and into the sun,
Yeah.
and getting the fresh air in the evenings has done wonders for his attitude, for his ability to sleep. And it's like, some people like the thought, and he now goes outside barefoot because everybody keeps talking about how important grounding is. So and he normally doesn't like to go barefoot. He got like stabbed in the foot with a cactus as a kid, and like now he's like super protective. And I'm like, we don't have any cactus in our yard. You can walk outside. Um,
And that's something too, we tell all the patients to move after they eat. So it's a
yes.
really great habit to get into, and that will bring down the insulin too.
Yeah.
The glucose.
Yeah. So it's like, well, and EMDR was discovered through a walk outside after a stressful event, right? Like walking does so much for nervous system, for blood sugar regulation, for inflammation. Like it really is these simple things. So your protocol, I don't know if we're done yet, but that sounds really doable.
Yeah, that's the baseline. And then we do have the heavy lifters, right? So this would be for people that are really serious, or you've been told you have plaque, or you've already had a major event, right? Or you're just very
Hmm.
serious about the anti-aging. Because then I do an IV therapy combination.
Okay.
Always on top of that. I do not do it alone. People call me all the time. No,
I
it's
love
the
that.
synergy that makes it work, right? And I've even had people try to do the IVs other places. Everyone does it different and they end up coming back anyways. So, but basically, it's ozone, which is O3 oxygen, right?
Mhm.
Has so many benefits. It's like my favorite of all time IVs. Since COVID, people's blood has been thicker. So I added on the UV light. I always do the ozone with the UV light. So it's like double anti-inflammatory, double oxygen. And then after that, I follow that with plaque X, just like it sounds like plaque X, but it makes every cell in the body work better, the liver, the kidneys, the
Hmm.
calcium, the plaque. And it's that combination with that foundation I believe that is the synergy, right?
Yeah.
Because I have friends that do 40 plaque XIVs. They don't get the results that we get. I have people that have people do dozens of ozone IVs. They don't get it. It's everything together, right? Because it's everything, it's that synergy. And I
Yeah.
believe that's where
Well,
the results come from.
and just from learning from so many different experts and doctors and people that are really in the thick of it, what I've found to be true is that people like if the environment has to be good for these extras to even work.
Yeah,
So the
exactly.
toxic, like we need to reduce the toxic burden. We need to increase the nutrient intake. We need inflammation under control. We need blood sugar managed. And
Hmm.
then the extras are able to actually do their job and they're not fighting against everything. And so a lot of people try to do everything themselves. We all throw spaghetti against the wall, not everything sticks. And when we're able to do it in a way that's supervised, because this is a medical event, right? Especially those who've had events or, are told, hey, you're going to need a stent. Like it has to be in a way where we can like I love biohacks, which is what they are, but only
Right,
they don't work unless the environment's already
right,
good.
right. I have a client that he is also really busy, like international business guy. And I love him, but he's just been dodging me, like for years on doing his lab, right? In the meanwhile, he'll show up maybe once a month and do the IVs, and even his wife has taken him to do the plasma exchange, the EBU, like you name it, right? Finally got him to do his labs. Hot
Yeah.
mess, right? So he spent like 100 grand on these things, right? That's not a get out of jail free card, like just like you said. And I told him, I said, look, you've done all these really big things, it's not giving the results. I need you to do the basics with me. So I'm like, let me kidnap you because I know you're busy, so I know I have to kidnap him. So I finally got him to go to one of our 4-day immersions, so then I can go through the get him started on this whole process with me, because that is where you get the return on the investment.
Right.
Right? It's like we can't build a house if we don't have a lot to like build the house on. Like
Yeah.
we have the
Eh,
dirt
Like
first,
you have to have the dirt and then the foundation,
Yeah.
and this foundation has to be built on solid dirt, like it can't be on sand. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You gotta clear the bushes and the rattlesnakes and all that stuff, right? And that's the other thing too, because I do like hormones and I do like peptides, if they're safe. But I don't think that we should leapfrog to that. I think doing this, getting that good solid metabolic baseline, and then all these things are just icing on your cupcake,
yeah,
like and that's the smart way to do it, because then you're gonna get longevity.
yeah. Yes. This is really exciting because I love when we're able to kind of toss out the window that you're stuck with this forever. Because I mean, and this is a lifestyle based disease. This isn't even chronic illness, so like my audience tends to be more people with chronic illness, but what I want to point out is the foundation is the same no matter what you're dealing
Yes.
with. Like
Yes.
in reality, they're all lifestyle based. Like
Yeah.
genetics are very small triggers. Like there are people who genetically have high cholesterol, and honestly, they're the ones who don't get Parkinson's and dementia related diseases, right? And so like genetics play a role, but lifestyle and diet pull the trigger, right? We say
Yes.
that all the time in our industry. And
Yeah.
um,
You have control. You have more control
yes,
than you
and I
think.
feel like that
Be
is so
empowered.
empowering because what I hate the most, and I've even been dealing with this with midwives and holistic care and with this pregnancy, is just feeling doomed to
Oh,
like have a certain event, right? Like, oh, I make big babies. I'm probably going to have a C-section. I really don't want one. I want a live baby. So if I have to have one, I'll get it. But it's like, I don't want
you're gonna
that.
manifest it. You're gonna manifest
Yeah.
that. It's just
No,
gonna
I
skim
am
out.
actually really good. I'm actually doing really good. But when I first like really learned about it, like, and I feel like this is with everybody who like gets a name to the like gets the diagnosis, right? Is
Hmm.
like you just feel this like sense of like dread and frustration, especially when you're trying to do everything right,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you feel like your body has failed you, right? And so it's like getting to this place of like you like that's why I was like, give me a continuous glucose monitor. Let me see what I'm doing. Let me see if I can, prevent having a bigger baby, even though it's genetic, really, both with mine and my husband's side. And, let's just see what happens. And whatever happens, I'm gonna deal with it. It'll be fine. I know how to recover. I know how to support my body. But just that feeling of being disempowered and feeling at the mercy of the system,
Yeah.
it messes with your mind so
Right.
much. And so it's like, okay, take a moment to like, that's one of the things I don't like about the doctors is like they just push it on you right then and there. And it's like, I need to like process and I need to talk to people and I need to like really wrap my head around this and know what are all of my options, right? And I feel like cardiovascular disease and congestive heart failure and all of that, like it's basically like we're just going to manage it until you die.
Yeah.
That is like, that's not an option for me.
No.
Right. And it doesn't have to be. Same with chronic illness. Like, you're not stuck with the symptoms forever unless you want to be.
Yes.
And
I
that
always
mental aspect of it's so huge.
be careful. I always encourage my clients to not claim their diagnosis. I like to do this like thumb over the shoulder, like I used to, or I'm healing from, right? Because the
Yeah.
mind loves an identity. Even if you hate
Yeah.
the thought of the identity, the mind is like, oh, we're a night owl. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't sleep at night, right? Like so I
Yeah.
even like with that, because half the people don't sleep good. I said, well, just be careful what you say, right? Because if you
Yeah.
really want to sleep good at night, you're like, you got to stop saying that because your mind, it just loves
Yeah.
identity.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, like MS warriors. I'm an MS warrior. I'm just like, no, you're not. Your body's just, that's how your body's crying out for help. And you don't have to be stuck with this forever. And I get so frustrated with, I mean, I understand that diagnosis is important for medical billing. Um, but it's like I don't believe it for the person. Like I have a friend who is a psychologist and he went into mental illness, like, people with like
Hmm.
schizophrenic, and he's like, I hate giving a name to their symptoms because then they latch onto it and that is who they are for the rest of their life. And I can't do anything to help them because they've decided this is who I am and I'm stuck with it. The same thing happens in the medical world. Like once we're given this name for the symptoms that our body's crying out for help with, it then that's just who we are for the rest of our lives. And it's like, no, absolutely not. Your body's crying out for help. Let's give the body what it needs.
Yeah,
And your data proves that there's a way to help the body reverse the systemic damage that's happening and it's crying out for help through plaque.
yeah. And the
And we
body's
can give the
amazing.
body what it needs so that it can clean that up.
Yeah, the body's amazing. People grow extra arteries when they need to, like
Yeah.
imagine if we cleaned up the terrain and made it the perfect environment for healing. Of course, the body would blow us away with
Yeah.
what
Well,
it
and
can
I think people
do.
forget like you get a paper cut, you don't do anything other than keep it clean, right? Like my mom broke her ankle and had screws in her leg and like I was like, "Hey mom, my mom's a sugarholic." And I was like, "Hey mom, I really need you to eat really clean. very mineral dense. And and then one of my naturopathic doctor friends wrote a script for like supplements for her. So I'm like, so your bone cells build back appropriately, just as strong and not weaker. And I was like, please just do it. I'm like, give me 3 months. Her doctor told her she'd be in a boot for a year and would probably be in pain the rest of her life. And she was out in like 4 months. And it's like
Oh,
when you take care of yourself and you give your body what it needs, it's miraculous.
it is. It is. It's amazing. That's why I always say, like, it's like I'm not healing you. If anything, you're healing you, but just by, kind of getting out of the way.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I had a consult this morning and he was like, I over research. I listen to all the things.
Mhm.
And he's like, I just need a plan. And I always tell people like it took me 7 years to get to a place of like feeling really healthy, vibrantly healthy. And with a plan, it can be as short as, 2 to 4 months. Depending on what you have going on, it could take a little bit longer, but for the most part, like the body is amazing when you take things out of the way that are barriers and give the body what it needs to function optimally. And it's this like amazing process that people really have this hard time understanding that it really is that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. I had two guys and they're in their 70s and they went and came into this program. We were skeptical and they both tell me they feel like they're 50. One guy went home and built a brand new house. He said he never would have done it. He never would have had the energy or wanted to do it if he hadn't had come and done the protocol. And another guy went home and like doubled his business,
Yeah.
and both of them like got off their blood pressure meds, lost weight, like all this stuff. And so it's like you can change the way that you age and it can be in a short period of time. And the one guy, I love it because he was so skeptical, gave me such a hard time. But he said, and I can't believe how simple it was, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's so funny because I think we've been trained since at least the 80s, if not earlier, that it has to be miserable and complicated to work. And it's like, it really doesn't. But getting that buy-in for the simple, like for the basics is really hard.
We just have to wash our brains, but
Yeah. No, I
like,
always say is like, I'm like, hey, give me 3 months, give me 12 weeks.
yep,
Like, that's all I ask. Give me 12 weeks and we'll see what happens.
a lot can change in 12
Oh
weeks.
my gosh. Normally it doesn't even take that long, but I always ask for that just because ask for the moon and, if we land in the stars, we're good. Um, but yeah. So if people want to work with you and your program, how do they reach out to you?
Well, I'm on social media, Dr. Mel Holistic, and I have a website which is drmelanie, MelaniIcard.com. And right there on the website, there's a masterclass you can watch that explains our process. We do a live webinar at least once a month, so you can also sign up for that if you want to come live. I always do a Q&A session at the end, and we do have quarterly immersion retreats, like I was saying, so you can kind of check that out and get in contact with us if you just want to get your feet wet or you feel like your time broke, but you want to get healthier. That's a great way to do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And it was so great to connect with you. And I'm so excited to give people hope and like, a solution. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Melanie and I talked a lot about diet and lifestyle and strategic supplementing. And if you want to get help with your diet to prevent getting to this place and get your metabolic syndrome under control, I would love to help you. I have a meal plan program that really makes it easy to transition to a diet that will support your health, reduce inflammation, stabilize your blood sugar, give you those gentle waves, and nourish your body so that it can function optimally, so that you can have the energy to live the life that you want to live. I will have links for you in the show notes, along with ways to contact Dr. Melanie. And thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you found this episode helpful, would you do me a favor and help others find it by leaving a review, sharing a screenshot on social media, or sharing the link with a friend? By you sharing what you've learned, others are able to find this podcast and join our community. Be sure to check out my website, www.roadtolivingwhole.com, for over 160 delicious recipes, a variety of meal plans, and a blog packed full of even more healthy living tips. If you'd like to learn more about how to work with me as your coach, you can schedule a free consult through www.roadtolivingwhole.com/health-coaching/. Until next time, friend. Bye.